Shalom, this is G. My silent sit down is coming back with a lesson. First off and foremost, I would like to give all praises, glory, and the highest honor to Yahweh Shemel Shai Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect out there. The spreading this word is saving the truth all over the four corners of the earth. Gone. So I was watching this video of the elder apostle Aramlab. Okay, very good lesson, very beautiful. And in this lesson, what he was doing was touching on some points in the book of First or Second Kings, if I'm correct. He went into the book of First Samuel. So me watching the video, today thinking about it, I got inspired to do this lesson. Which is concerning the importance of going into the history, man. The importance of going into the history. You cannot disannul the fact that you have to go into the history, man. How can you call yourself an Hebrew Israelite, teaching the scriptures, but when it's concerning the history of your forefathers, you don't know nothing? Someone asks you, well, who is Samuel? Or someone asks you, who is Samson? And you're not able to answer. That's ridiculous, man. You see? You need to be able to name the people, your ancestors, so to speak. There it is, we calling ourselves the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible, But we are not able to name the righteous kings in the past. Okay, what happened with King Solomon? Okay, the judges. You see, that shouldn't be the case, man. Okay, even going into the book of Exodus, you see, which is a very important book. A lot of things is being shown in there. It gives you a broader perspective, man. What brothers oftentimes think it's not important. Now, let me grab a thing concerning that. Okay, the park of Salakia is raining. I'm walking outside, so my screen might start to trip a little bit. It already happened because the screen closed already one time. Come on, man. The screen already closed one time. Anyway, this Ecclesiasticus chapter 5 verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. So just because you don't really like it, or you don't really like to go into the history, it's not really important to you, that doesn't mean that you should go into it, man. Okay, you should spend days reading the Old Testament. You should spend days going into the book of Kings, Chronicles, okay, Nehemiah, Ezra. All history, man. It's very important to know where we come from, what state of mind we used to have, and with that information you can check yourself also. If you end up in certain situations that your forefathers used to be in, and they got jacked up for, or they got judged by the way that they dealt with the situation, you learn off of that, man. You have to realize that, hey, shit, before I get trapped into the same situation, I better check myself, man, before I wreck myself. You see? There it is. You have a whole book, accounts of people that was trying to serve the Lord also, man. Some did it, some failed. Some did it, some, they died eventually, of course, but they had the blessing upon them of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shemel Shai. Even if we look at the Apostle Peter, as like the Apostle, the Prophet Daniel. When we look at the Prophet Daniel, what did the Most High say? What were the last words that the Most High told him? It's like Daniel chapter 12, verse 12. Blessed is he that waited, and come unto the 1,330 days. But go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest, and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. So, those those prophets from back in the days, they are standing in their lot again in these days, man. Being tested, going through trials and tribulations, being afflicted. It's all part of this ministry, man. It's all part of this truth. You see? So my point, learning and studying what our ancestors used to go through and how they dealt with such situations is very important. This is Job chapter 8, verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age. Let's go into that word former age. Former, it says what? First, primary, former. Okay, in the Hebrew it says Ra'ash one. Before. Okay. Age, Dawar, it has period, generation. Habitation, dwelling, period, age, generations. Okay, the generations that were before us, man. We gotta check them out, man. We gotta see what was going on over there. Okay, in the book of Baruch, it says there was news. There's something new on my phone. If I swipe to the left, I get all kinds of news. Based off of your algorithm. So it showed you some Dragon Ball. Because I need to know when the series start again, man. Let me see. 10 times more. Okay. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 28. For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. So if you meditate upon it, if you think about it, you're like, as it was our mind to go astray from the Lord. Well, if you don't know the history, you don't know all the fuck-ups that have been present there, man. How the kings went off. King Solomon, he was doing good in the sight of the Most High, but when he was of an old age, he started to, mess things up, man. Even King David. Okay? You need to know these things, man. Even if you start reading the book of First Chronicles, you realize that Joab, Abishai, and Asahel are the nephews of King David. Nephews, man. Okay, Amasa was also a nephew. You see? You gotta know these things, man. Or nephew or cousins. In the Dutch language, nephew and cousin doesn't exist. Everything is nephew. You see? Everything is nephew. So the son or a daughter, the son of your uncle is your nephew, but the son of your sister or your brother is also your nephew. So that's why it's lucky for that. Anyway, you're supposed to know what this is referring to, man. As it was your mind to go astray from the Lord, now being returned, seek him 10 times more. We as a nation, we come from a place, wherein we greatly disrespected Yahweh Hashem Yahushai with our ways, man. Where do you find that? In the history. You see? You learn a lot from it, man. It's like I had to clean my phone. It's a spirit, man. This is a spirit. I just cleaned my phone, the screen of my phone, because it was wet. And where do we end up at? 2 Kings chapter 4. Now let's see. Let's see if we can find something beautiful in it, man. Because it was a spirit for me to go there, I guess. Let me see real quick. Let me scan it a little bit. Yeah, check this out. 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 22. And she called unto her husband and said, Send me, I pray thee, one of the young men and one of the asses, that I may run to the man of God and come again. You see? Now, if I'm correct, this was concerning a little child that died, and Elisha came. So there was really the prophets of old, they did a lot of miracles too, man. Elisha called fire from the heavens, destroyed destroyed two. Come on, Eric. See, slack. Destroyed two tools, military tools, man. Armies of 50, if I'm correct. And then the 3rd he spared. But those things was happening. Now, what does Romans say? Romans chapter 15, I'm correct? Yeah, man. Romans chapter 15, verse 4. Whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. You see? So the history, the scriptures, is full of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. The scriptures is full of things that happened. The history is full of things that happened, you know, to our ancestors that we can learn of, man. Whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. So we in the latter days, we supposed to learn off of the mistakes our ancestors made. Okay, let's go to what's that other scripture I had in mind? My phone is completely wet, man. It's really messed up, but I'm inside again. Let me see. 2nd Ezra 14 and 22. Okay, it says what? But if I have found grace before thee, send the Holy Spirit into me, and I shall write all that had been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in thy law, that man might find thy path, and that they which live in the latter days may live. So the information that is being bestowed upon the ancestors, the information that has been given unto the ancestors, you know, and is written down, is important for us, man. We need to read that. We need to understand that and meditate upon it. You know, how they dealt with certain things, the visions, the prophecies that have been given, so that we may live in the latter days. You see, because a lot of things that were written aforetime were prophecies. Not only prophecies, man. Certain accounts, certain men went through things, dealt with certain situations, man. You see? And they had to, you know, do the right things to get out of these situations. Did it always end up well? No. So the times it didn't end up well are for us a learning thing, man. A learning process. Okay, let me go inside real quick, man. That wasn't a good idea to do. Walk and talk outside with the stormy rain. You know, but the dog has to go outside. You see? I got this other scripture in mind also. Yahushua mentioned it. Let me see. Okay. This is Matthew chapter 11, verse 29. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find resting unto your souls. So Yahushua is mentioning that you're supposed to learn from him. Things that he went through, things that he dealt with. Okay, especially how he kept his calm when all the things were happening unto him, man. Okay, it's the spirit, because what is the apostle round up going into here? The persecution of the prophets, you see? So Yahushua was being persecuted. Now he says, learn of me. So we got his account, you know, in which he endured long suffering, man. Great suffering, you know. Meanwhile, he had the strength and the power to deal with these people, man. You know, instantly. But guess what? The prophecies have to be fulfilled. That's why he said, okay, I came to fulfill the law. Because within the law, you have the prophecies too. Law referring to the Torah, okay? So Yahushua says, learn from me. Okay? Let me see if there was more to this. Okay, and even here in the New Testament, what is it constantly referring to? Okay, 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 9. For it is written in the law of Moses, thou shalt not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treadeth out the corn. Doth the Most High take care of oxen? Okay, and oftentimes Yahushua refers back to the prophecies concerning him. Okay, that came to pass when Yahushua was on the scene. You need to know these things, man. Okay? You need to know these things, man. In order to understand the New Testament better, you're supposed to read the Old Testament also. Okay? If you go to the library and there's a book of 100 pages, are you gonna ask for the 30 last pages and skip the first 70? No, you ain't gonna do that. Because you need the first 70 to understand the last 30 pages. Okay? So my point with this lesson is, man, don't X out the Old Testament. Don't X out the history. Okay? I mentioned something concerning King David. Let me pull it up, man. So here is 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verse 34. And Abraham begat Isaac, the sons of Isaac, Esau and Israel. Who is Israel? Jacob is name changed into Israel. Okay? Then it names the sons of Esau. Going down, because we skip Esau, Edom. We go to chapter 2. Okay? Let's see. Here we are looking at the lineage of Judah, the sons of Judah, because it's going into the lineage of Israel. Okay, so it said, let me go up a little bit here. Okay, this is 1 Chronicles chapter 2, verse 12. And Boaz begat Obed, and Obed Jesse, which Jesse we know from the book of Samuel, 1 Samuel, who Jesse is, man. Jesse in the Hebrew, Yeshaya, okay, which means I possess. You see here, David's father. You see, we're just reading one chapter in the book of 1 Chronicles, and we see, okay, this is David's father. Okay, now what does it refer to over here? Let me see. See, it's mentioned 42 times. But when we go over here, it says 1 Samuel 14. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 14, verse 49. Now the sons of Saul were Jonathan and Ishu and Malchishua, and the names of his two daughters were these. The name of the firstborn, Merab. Let me see. Oh, it's not going into Jesse over here. Anyway, I'm just trying to show you like how you can go into the lineage, man. Okay, verse 13 says what? And Jesse begat his firstborn Eliab, and Abinadab the second, and Shema the third, Nathaniel the fourth, Radai the fifth, Ozem the sixth, David the seventh, whose sisters were Zeruiah and Abigail, and the sons of Zeruiah. So the sister of King David is Zeruiah. So his sister begat Abishai and Joab and Asahel. 3. You see? So that's what I was referring to earlier. This is information you get out of the book of Chronicles, man. Things like this. And the book of Chronicles gives you different insights of the book of Kings and Samuel also. You see? Just like how you're not only going to read the book of Matthew, you're also going to read the book of Mark. You're also going to read the book of Luke, the book of John. Meanwhile, it's speaking about the same account, but it's going to add certain things onto it, which give you a different perspective or a different point of view. Or things that are written in the book of Matthew are not written in the book of John. Things that are written in the book of Luke are not written in the book of Mark. So you get all kinds of information, and it creates one collective of information which you need. You see, some things that are being pointed out in the book of Chronicles are not pointed out in the book of Kings. You see, let me see. So Asahel, man, and then Abigail bare Amasa. So Abigail is another sister of King David. And then Amasa, now Joab was the captain, but then Amasa became the captain, and Amasa was killed by Joab. You see, all these things is important, man. So I just wanted to point out this small little thing. So to come back to it, they are his nephews, the children of his sisters. Okay, important to know, because then when we go to let me see. Then when we go to Joab, I'm just showing you how you can do some extra research on these things, man. Okay. David's sister's son and captain of his hosts. 1 Samuel chapter 26 verse 6 points that out according to this. Then answered David, 1 Samuel 26 and 6. Then answered David and said to Ahimelech the Hittite and to Abishai the son of Zeruiah, brother to Joab. So here in 1 Samuel is pointing out that Abishai is the brother to Joab, the son of Zeruiah, but it doesn't point out that Zeruiah is the sister of King David. You see? Beautiful, man. So that's all that extra information. This is 2 Samuel 2 and 13. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, the servants of David, went out and met together by the pool of Gibeon, and sat down, the one on one side of the pool, and the other on the other side of the pool. You see? And I believe what happened here was the fight. Verse 14. And Abner said to Joab, let the young man now rise and play before us. And Joab said, let them rise. Then there arose and went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and 12 of the servants of David. And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust the sword in his fellow's side, so they fell down together. Wherefore that place was called Helkath Hazurim, which is Gibeon. So now you understand the city Gibeon, man. The city Gibeon. So Gibeon is a very known place. Now the Gibeon is where the battle took place. Okay? A place in Palestine, which is actually the region of the Philistines, man. You see, which Israel took over at a certain point. Okay, hill city. What does it say? Gabaiwan in the Hebrew. Gabaiwan. Okay, so it says the place that they was at was called Gibeon, but before it was called Helkath Hazurim, which is the Philistine name. Verse 17, and there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten, and the man of Israel, before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons of Zeruiah there, Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. And Asahel was as light of foot as a wild roe, so he was super fast. And Asahel pursued after Abner, and in going he turned not to the right hand or to the left from following Abner. He was dedicated to catch Abner or to kill Abner. Then Abner looked behind him and said, art thou Asahel? And he answered, I am. Now how can it be that Abner, the captain of the military forces of Ishbosheth, the son of King Saul, how can it be that Abner knew Asahel if he was just a unknown fellow, a military dude? He was not. He was the nephew of King David, and he was a known man. You see, he was a known man. He was among the captains. And he answered, I am. And Abner said to him, turn aside to thy right hand or to thy left. and lay thee hold on one of the young men, and take thee his armor. But Asahel would not turn aside from following him. So Abner said, it's better if you know, start a fight with someone else, because, it's not going to end well for you. And Abner said again to Asahel, turn thee aside from following me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground? How then should I hold up my face to Joab thy brother? Because they knew each other. Howbeit he refused to turn aside. Wherefore Abner, with the hinder end of the spear, smote him under the fifth rib, that the spear came out behind him, and he fell down there and died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to the place where Asahel fell down and died stood still. So this was a chase, man. But the person that was chasing was the one ending up dying, man, which is the nephew of King David, which later Abner killed. Abner was killed by Joab, which is the brother of Abishai. You see, that was killed by Abner. But what did Joab do? Joab did it without the commandment of the king, which is King David. So he transgressed the commandment of the king. Let me see. There's a scripture concerning it. Yep. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 8 verse 2. I counsel thee to keep the king's commandment, and that in regard of the oath of the Most High. You see? So you're not supposed to transgress the commandments of the king. Okay? Let me see if there's a precept on it. Proverbs chapter 24 verse 21. My son, fear thou Yahweh and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change. So you ain't supposed to transgress the commandment of the king. So what did Joab do in this instant? He went and he stabbed Abner under the fifth rib. And King David was angry at him, and that's why later on he kicked him out. No, he demoted him. Let me see if that's the correct word. Yeah, demoted. So he demoted Joab. It says demote, move someone to a lower position or rank, usually as a punishment. He demoted him. Okay, and he made Abishai captain. Slakia Amasa. Let me see here. Absalom made Amasa captain of hosts instead of Joab, which Amasa was a man's son whose name was Itara, an Israelite, and went into Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister of Zeruiah's, Joab's mother. You see? And this is the account. 2 Samuel chapter 20, verse verse 8. When they were at the great stone which is in Gibeon, again, the place where his brother died, the place where the brother of Joab died. So this, for me, now I start to realize, like, hey, they were at the same spot where Abishai, the little brother of Joab, was killed by Abner. They're again at the same spot. So it says, when they were at the great stone, which is in Gibeon, Amasa went before them, and Joab's garment that he had put on was girded unto him, and upon it a girdle with a sword fastened upon his loins, in the sheath thereof. And as he went front, it fell out. And Joab said to Amasa, Art thou in health, my brother? And Joab took Amasa by the beard with the right hand to kiss him. But Amasa took no heed to the sword that was in Joab's hand. So he smote him there within the fifth rib, and shed out his bowels to the ground, and struck him not again, and he died. So Joab and Abishai, his brother, pursued after Sheba the son of Bichri. And previously I said where Abishai died. I meant where Asahel died. Asahel died, the brother of Joab. He died in Gibeon. Okay. He also died in Gibeon. So you see, this is that treacherous spirit of Joab. You see, 11. And one of Joab's men stood by him, and said, He that favoureth Joab, and he that is for David, let him go after Joab. And Amasa wallowed in blood in the midst of the highway. And when the man saw that all the people stood still, he removed Amasa out of the highway into the field, and cast a cloth upon him, when he saw that every one that came by him stood still. And he was removed out of the highway. All the people went on after Joab to pursue after Sheba the son of Bichri. You see? And he went through all the tribes of Israel unto Abel. So then the story continues, and later on you see the judgment that came upon Joab, man, through his generations. Suicide, suicide, and a couple other things. Let me see. Leprosy. Let me type in this. Generation. Okay, let me check it out by just looking at the word leprosy. Let me look for it. Yeah, this is after the killing of Abner. 2 Samuel chapter 3 verse 28. And after, when David heard it, he said, I and my kingdom are guiltless before the Lord, for even forever from the blood of Abner the son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on his father's house, and let there not fail from the house of Joab one that had an issue, or that is a leper, or that leaneth on the staff, or that falleth on the sword, or that lack bread. So the descendants of Joab are still struggling with these infirmities, man. One that had an issue, whatever it is. Everyone is always, from his generation, there's always people sick, having an issue, or have leprosy. Okay, which is the disappearance of the pigmentation, or that leaneth on a staff, that is without strength. If a person needs a staff, then he doesn't really have that strength within him no more. That's why elderly people, they use a staff. Or that falleth on the sword. What does that mean? To commit suicide, man. Or that lacketh bread. What is the point? Joab, his generations after him, are not set by good, man, for the things that he has done. You see? That's a curse that King David put upon his house and the generations after him. You see? Verse 30. So Joab and Abishai his brother slew Abner, because he had slain their brother Asahel at Gibeon in the battle. Okay, so again, like I said, Job chapter 8, verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. Go into the history, look up the old ways, man, of our people. See where they went off, see where they did good, and through the Spirit, because I came inside, my screen dried up and shit like that. I was able to go into a couple of these um, history scriptures, historical events, just to show you, like, hey, this is how I do it, man. I look up names, I look up accounts, what happened to this person. But some other days I just go from A to Z, man. I just read the book of Kings completely. First Kings, Second Kings, First Chronicles, Second Chronicles. Use your markers, mark down, connect the links, connect the dots. Who is this cousin? The cousin of him? What? You see? Lay down the links, man, and don't read over these names and be like, oh, it's just names, because you might stumble upon something beautiful, man, to know and to add onto the arsenal of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding you got. So with that, I want to give all praises, glory, and the highest honor to Yahweh Shem Yahshua Shem Kakadash. Shalom to the elect.